Good evening, lovely people. This is Nicola in the Stitches and Slapdashery sewing room, doing something a little different today. We just had a really lovely Sunday dinner, which was wonderfully tasty with our roast potatoes and roasted Brussels sprouts and things like that. And we're having a decaf coffee just to round it off. And I've been thinking today about how people dislike November. When you're in the Northern Hemisphere, November can just be a bit of a downer to a lot of people. The nights are drawing in, it's getting colder, the snow is threatening, maybe where you live. And unless you're in the US, November is a bit of a desert as far as festivals and holidays are concerned. So I wanted to record a little extra video that wasn't on the regular vlog schedule, all about November. And reasons why I love it, and also how you can make it a little bit more enjoyable if you find it a tough month. Let's start with a poem. I found a lovely poem today. I'm going to have to put my specs on for this. I found a poem on a site called sonicspot.com today. I did a Google search for November poems, and I love this one. It's by somebody called Anne Billing, Billinge, and it's called November's Dying Notes. Well, let's just have a little read of this first. November takes delight in cloaking herself in gloom, the sun rarely finding chinks in her leaden armour. A few amber leaves still cling fluttering tenaciously, anxiously awaiting the winds to bring death's release. A black bird resignedly hunches its shoulders against the cold, seeking a warm spot in the apple tree's gnarled branches. The ornamental grasses that swayed to summer's soft melody, anchored in place as frozen sentinels by the sharp winter frost. Ebonized branches fling themselves against a lumbering sky, dead men's fingers imploringly seeking a path towards sunlight. Even the stone statues take on a brooding, silent air, sensing no solace to be found at the dying of the year. Conifer trees glower threateningly against a lowering sky. No Christmas lights to illuminate their outstretched bowers. Only a solitary crow's complaining cry disturbs the silence, voicing his disdain at November's chill, uncaring face. The fruits of autumn are a distant, ghostly memory. Abundant windfall apples lie dying in abandoned decay. Slowly the days march down towards deep midwinter, and all beneath the soil enthralls to the promise of spring's kiss. So I made a list of some of the things that we do here in our little part of Canada to get ready for winter. Putting a blanket in your car is a really good idea because you never know when you'll be stuck in the car and maybe the heater's gone out or you have to switch the engine off and wait, and you don't want to be freezing. Also, we put our snow brushes in the car so that if we get snow on the windshield and other windows, we can brush it off before we start to drive. And it's also, if you're going out of town, it's a good idea to put some emergency food and water and other bits and pieces in a box in the back, because you don't want to be left without certain supplies if for any reason you were stuck waiting for, say, a tow truck or something. Of course, we've already put our winter tires on. They are the law in a lot of places and on the major highways here in Canada, because you don't want to be sliding around when the snow hits and when the ice crusts over the roads, that's for sure. And so we have really good tread on our winter tires, which will help us to negotiate the weather when it hits. It has almost started right now. On Friday, when I was at work, there had been a few little snowflakes falling, and then it started to rain, and then it started to rain even more heavily. And I was at the front of the store at the till, watching it get darker and darker and darker. It was dark at 3:30 in the afternoon because it was so cloudy and so rainy. And today dawned bright as anything, but there's a lot of snow on the mountains around us now. So we are very close to being on the snow line now. And it won't be long before we'll have snow in the valley. So it's good to be prepared. So the house is in good repair. The furnace is in good repair. We're going to stay warm this winter. The snow shovels will shortly be taken out of the shed and put by the back door, so that when it's time to shovel the driveway, just so that we can get out of there, we'll be ready. The autumn leaves have been left on the ground. We are not the type to rake up our leaves. We like to leave them there to protect any creatures that might be sheltering in there, and so we just leave them lying on the ground. Plus, it saves us a lot of work. So let's talk about some things that can help us to enjoy this time of year. Number 1, think of the long dark evenings as wonderful opportunities for crafting. Crochet, knitting, sewing, journal making. If you haven't already got a hobby that you can do in the long dark evenings, then it's time to learn and adopt one. There's so many choices. Instead of railing against the earliness of the sunset, embrace it. When you get home from whatever you've been doing during the day, get in your pajamas and just hunker down and enjoy that feeling of drawing in and relaxing and hibernating for the winter. We're sort of on the cusp of autumn and winter right now. And winter is a time of hibernation for the plants and for the animals, and why shouldn't it be for us too? We try to do too much quite often, don't we? And sometimes we have to cut back, relax, settle in, and make the most of that lovely darkness. Number 2, put up some lights. Who says you have to wait till Christmas to put up fairy lights? Hang some now if you want. Get out the candles. If you're worried about safety with pets and children, get those electric ones that have like little batteries in. And some of them even flicker and look like real candles, even though they're not. Put those around the place. Put up some lights. Brighten up your space. And if you really, really, really do have seasonal depression, get one of those lamps that helps. You can sit in front of it for a little while every day, boost your mood. I'm very, very grateful that that's not something I suffer from, but I know people do, and do whatever you have to do to feel better. Number 3, bundle up and go outside. There's nothing quite like the feeling of putting all of your warm, windproof, waterproof clothes on, going out, having a good old walk in the fresh air, bit of exercise, deep breathing, enjoying the elements, and then coming back to the house, which is all warm and cozy. You can peel off your layers, make yourself a cup of tea, and just feel rosy-cheeked and relaxed. I love that feeling. We had a walk today right along the waterfront, and it was nearly blowing us over, the wind. And the lake was crashing against the beach, and it was such a lovely feeling. The leaves were flying off the trees, and there was a gorgeous carpet of colours on the ground. Just appreciating all that nature has to offer right now will help you feel better. Number 4, you may not be an artist, but I'm sure you notice colours. We all do. And The sky is going to be changing colours at this time of the year, maybe just a pale blue or maybe grey or very cloudy. And clouds are super interesting. When you learn the names of them, it makes it more exciting to be out there observing them. The colours of the leaves are awesome, of course. Yellow, gold, red, brown. It's such a wonderful carpet of colour, and you can kick your way through them when you're out for your walk. It feels so good. And if you're near a body of water, if you're near the sea or a lake, you can look at the different colours of that too, reflecting the colours in the sky. Every season has its colours, and fall is one of the most colourful seasons if you look for it. Number 5, enjoy hot beverages. How many people do I know who, when fall arrives, are just desperate for a pumpkin spice latte? That's not my particular taste, but there's a lot of different kinds of tea and coffee and hot chocolate out there, and it's easy to find one that you enjoy. Maybe enjoy it with a slice of cake or a cookie, and enjoy being warm and cozy in your house and feeling very grateful for what you have. I know it's a cliche, but an attitude of gratitude really does make a difference. And a simple hot drink and snack can make you feel so much better. And just remember, there's nothing you can do about the seasons, and there's nothing you can do about time. It's not going to go faster just because you want it to. So be present in the moment. Think of ways to embrace the moment you're in. It's so much better for the peace of mind. Number 6. This is a really simple one. This one helps with the feeling of warmth and light. If you have a fireplace, build a fire in it. There's nothing like a real fire, is there? And if you don't, do what I do and put a YouTube fireplace video on. I did that today. I was making this list of ways to embrace and appreciate November, and I wrote that one down, and I thought, I'm going to go to YouTube right now. I'm going to put the fireplace video on. The first one I find, I'm going to put it on. And of course, I have a large TV right in front of my fireplace, so it's absolutely perfect. It even had crackling sounds. Number 7, invite a few friends over, or even just one friend. Having friends over makes it into a bit of an occasion, whereas you might not do something special for yourself. You usually are willing to do something special for a friend. So invite them over, put some nice coffee on, or get the nice teapot out that you've got in the cupboard that you don't normally use for yourself. Maybe do a little bit of baking so that you've got a treat to offer them, and sit down around your kitchen table and have a good natter. That's going to do your mood so much good. And probably theirs too. Number 8, following on from number 7, bake something. Look up a simple recipe for some cookies or cake and have your house smelling of cinnamon or chocolate or something else delicious. It'll also warm up your kitchen. So if you're feeling a little chilly, just go stand near the stove while it's baking. And then you can invite your friends around for number 7. Alternatively, you might like to prepare for upcoming holidays. If you celebrate Christmas, you might want to bake a Christmas cake. If you're the kind who has a recipe which you pour alcohol into every week for about 6 weeks, now's the time to do it. It's mid-November. Get your Christmas cake made. It'll make your kitchen smell amazing. Or make some mincemeat like I did today. I'll put my little video of me making mincemeat at the end of this video. I'm testing out a new recipe this year, hoping it's going to be good. Number 9, Keep a journal. Now, I am useless at journaling, I have to say, on a long-term basis. When I used to write on my blog, I was really, really good at keeping it up because, I don't know, there was something about typing it up and publishing it on a blog that kept me excited and interested, much more than handwriting a journal, much as I love writing with pens on paper. That's one of my loves, but I seem to have never managed to write a journal by hand. But if you know it's something you enjoy doing, start one up again. Maybe make a habit of just writing down one little thing you're grateful for with your morning coffee each day. Or just observations you've made about the seasonal changes. That's another reason I like doing Vlogtober, because I'm paying more attention so that I've got something to talk about on the vlog. And it's really helped. It's helped me be more in the present moment and finding that autumn seems to last longer when I pay attention. I used to say that spring and autumn were too short here, and it felt like summer just segued into the winter far too fast. But now that I'm paying more attention, I'm finding that autumn really does last quite a long time. And I'm really appreciating it every day. Number 10. November is a little bit of a desert for festivities, unless you're in the US and you've got Thanksgiving, of course. There is that. So for the rest of us, sometimes we have to make up our own festivals, don't we? In Canada, we had Thanksgiving in October. And we've got 2 whole months between that and Christmas, where there's nothing really special happening. So why not make your own special thing happen? You could invent a festival if you wanted. You could create new traditions. You could make up a ridiculous name for it, or a ridiculous thing to do, just to be silly and have fun with your family or friends. Anything to maybe beat the seasonal blues a little bit, or brighten up the month, or just appreciate going outside with a bunch of friends and kicking through the leaves and stopping at your favorite coffee shop for a hot drink and a good natter. Wouldn't that be lovely? Number 11. Wear something colourful and fun. As you'll see, I'm in my granny square sweater, which is my absolute favourite sweater that I sewed for myself a year or 2 ago. And I'm wearing my birdhouse earrings. Just for this video, because I wanted to talk about what a mood lifter that is. I was wearing a pretty boring grey sweater before, which was warm and cozy for sure, but it doesn't have quite that same mood boosting effect that this sweater does. So hopefully you've got some colourful clothes in your closet, or something that's just your favourite and you always love yourself in it. It fits well, or it's comfortable, or it's bright, or it gives you good memories of when you've worn it before. And that helps you to go through your day with a spring in your step, even if it's fall. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a little departure from what I normally do, but I felt strongly that it might be helpful to some people. Thanks so much for watching. Do let me know what you think of November and what you like to do during this month. And I'll see you in a little bit for vlog 72 as usual. Bye for now. Tonight I'm making my mincemeat. I've had some of the ingredients for a few days. Yesterday I got the dried fruit that I needed. There was a few things I substituted and switched around in this recipe. It's not one I've made before. It's called thinlyspread.co.uk is the website. And I wrote down all the ingredients, but I'm doubling starters. I've got my biggest Dutch oven out here. And I'm subbing a couple of things because I don't have the figs. I don't have enough dried ginger, so I'm using crystallized. And my mix of dried fruit is going with whatever I've got. So it's got pears, which I just chopped pretty roughly. I didn't bother peeling them. Don't believe in peeling fruit unless the peel is full of chemicals. I've got apples. These are Macintosh apples, which have a nice tangy flavour to them. Those are my apples of choice when we moved here from the UK, from Britain, I should say. We were gutted to find out we couldn't get Bramley's apples here for cooking. So Macintosh is probably our closest substitute. Now I need a juice of a lemon. And actually, really, I need the juice of 2 lemons because I am doubling. But when I bought the lemon and the orange, I didn't realize I was going to be doubling. But one of my kids said, you should double this recipe, so we've got plenty. So I have a very large lemon here. In fact, it's so big, I may not need to supplement. I do have some lemon in a bottle from Costco. I may add a little bit more of that. Oh, you got a lemon seed in there. So I think I'll add a squirt of the real lemon in the bottle just to make sure I've got lots of lemon juice in there. That was 2 big squirts. And then I will need the juice of an orange. I think the recipe may have called for some zest as well. This is a very large navel orange and it smells amazingly wonderful. In fact, this is all going to smell amazingly wonderful when it's done. Okay, where did that orange seed go? Oh dear. Oh well, we won't fret about the pip. I've got the oven heating to 200 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius anymore. My conversion abilities got rather weak. When I was at school, we always wrote our recipes out in Celsius, or centigrade at the time, Fahrenheit, and gas mark, whatever. I can't remember what gas mark was equivalent to, but I know that 200 Celsius is pretty close to 400 Fahrenheit when we were doing our conversions. Okay, that's such a big orange that I don't think I have to worry about not having a second one. I spent about half an hour prepping my ingredients. What I like to do before I start cooking is getting everything ready. I think it's called mise en place in French. So I got my ingredients weighed out and lined up exactly in the order in which I'm going to put them in as per the recipe. So this is my wonderful dried fruit mixture. There are jumbo Thompson raisins, there are dried apricots, there are currants and cranberries and prunes in there. The next thing the recipe calls for is glacé cherries, which I forgot to look for in the bulk food store and I'm not crazy about anyway. So we're just leaving those out. And instead of the next set of dried fruit ingredients, I'm using dried dates, which I haven't even cut up. This is going to get cooked long and slow in the oven, so they'll probably just melt into a nice sludgy mess. In my weighing scale, whatever you call it, what do you call this thing that you put on your top of your scales to put things in to weigh them? I can't remember. I've got some brown sugar, I've got allspice, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Barely any sugar. I mean, really, you could probably leave that out because dried fruit is so sweet. And instead of dried ginger, I am using some crystallized ginger, purely because I happen to buy it for a snack at the same time as the other fruit, because it's delicious. And the last thing is oh, my oven's ready already. The last thing is 180 mils of juice, which is 3/4 of a cup. Well, that isn't much liquid. I'm wondering if the pears and apples are going to create a lot of liquid or what, because these are dried fruit and presumably will be sucking up liquid. Well, we're going to trust this recipe. Smells divine. Okay, so there's probably about maybe only about a centimetre of liquid in the bottom of there, so I might check it every now and again just to be sure it's not drying out. Pears and apples will probably make some juice, and there's the lemon juice in there as well. So that is ready to go in the oven with the lid on. My beautiful blue Dutch oven that I just bought not long ago, and we're going to put it in for an hour and a half. Well, it was sitting in the oven for an hour and a half, 200 degrees, and I realized when I took it out, that's not even boiling. So it was just sitting there getting hot, but not really sterilizing in any way and not cooking in any way. So I added extra juice and I'm simmering it on the top of the stove just for a few minutes to get it up to a safe temperature. Then I'm going to put it into my jars, which I have ready here, my funnel. And then I will seal it and put it in the fridge for the next few weeks. The one I usually make is raw, and I put it in sterile jars and put it in the fridge for about 4 to 5 weeks normally. So it should be safe enough.